After an impressive sweep over the Texas Rangers, to start this homestand, the Athletics have stumbled in this four-game set versus the New York Yankees. Thursday, a major injury to Josh Reddick set the tone for the series as the A's have been seeking some offense and timely hits all weekend long. With a victory today, the A's can salvage a win in this series and fly to Seattle with a winning homestand. It's the final game of the series. It's the A's and it's the Yankees coming up next. It's a nice day for baseball at the Coliseum here in Oakland. And the Yankees have won the first three games of this series. They'll send the big right-hander Michael Pineda to the mound today, and he will be opposed by the A's right-hander Jesse Hahn. Final game of the series and the final game of this homestand. It's the A's and the Yankees coming up on CSN California. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Oakland A's baseball. Along with my broadcast partner, Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. A's have scored just 5 runs in the first 3 games of this series. So, Ray, you can say, well, the A's offense is struggling, but let's give the Yankees pitchers some credit. Their starters have been very good.
They've been outstanding, Cap. You go back to when the A's were in New York, they did not see any of these 3 pitchers in the rotation. Nova came out of the bullpen, but he started the first game of the series, just 62 pitches. Then they turned it over to the big 3 down in the bullpen. CC Sabathia probably was the best because they were looking for 985. They did not get it. 88, 89, 90. Change speeds it very effectively. Good breaking ball. He pitched deep in the ball game. And Tanaka yesterday was even much better. Bases loaded situation. The A's had a chance to at least score some runs. They could not do it. So those 3 starters did outstanding work. They got some offensive support, but it all starts with the starting pitching.
And speaking of starting pitching, Hahn and Pineda today. And Hahn will be making his 4th start. Pineda, Ray, it's hard to imagine that this guy's got an ERA over 6.5 because his stuff is really good.
So let's hope the A's can take advantage of that with Jesse Hahn on the mound. Jesse, of course, he relies on a good sinking fastball, good 12-6 curveball, got a mid-90s fastball. But you're right about Pineda. Came over from the Seattle Mariners. He's lost 5 games with that inflated ERA. He's a good pitcher, and let's just hope he does not follow the 3 previous starters because they've done well. And let's hope Jesse Hahn pitches a little bit better today.
And the A's just trying to get going. Right. Bad news on Sonny Gray today. We'll talk about that during the telecast. So A's trying to salvage the final game of this 4-game series against the Yankees. We'll have lineups and first pitch from the Coliseum when we come back. It's the A's and the Yankees coming up on CSN California.
Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the Baconlicious Sourdough Bacon Ranch Combo, only at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
Beautiful day for baseball here at the Coliseum. Nice to see the sunshine. There are quite a few clouds above us, but they're not rain clouds, and that's the most important thing as the A's take the field. Jesse Hahn getting loose. He's just about set to go. So are we. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The boardwalk is open. Visit beachboardwalk.com for park hours. It's 65 degrees with light breeze, 10 miles per hour. So the A's wrapping up this homestand. They swept the Rangers and have lost the first 3 here. So it's a 3-3 homestand so far with the 3-game series in Seattle set to start tomorrow night. Here's the lineup for the New York Yankees. Jacoby Ellsbury in center, Brett Gardner left, Carlos Beltran, who's had a huge series. He's had a huge career as well. He's the DH. Then it's McCann, the catcher, Teixeira at first. Castro, a big day yesterday. Headley will play third. Gregorius is the shortstop. And Aaron Hicks is in right field.
And Jesse Hahn trying to do something that teams very rarely do, and that's get swept in a 4-game series. Jesse, his 4th start. He is 1-1. The important thing about him, he has had 37 ground ball outs in his 3 starts. He needs the ground balls. He needs to really prevent the ball from getting elevated and in the air, and he has a chance to do that against the club that he faced one time last year.
So here is Jacoby Ellsbury. And Hahn's first pitch swung on by Ellsbury and hit high and foul down the left field line. So we're underway from the Coliseum. A's and the Yankees.
107.
Final matchup of the year between these two teams. And whoever wins this will get the season series win as well. Remember, the A's swept the Yankees in New York. 3-game series there. Joe Girardi in his 9th season. Yankees playing a little bit better lately. They sitting on a 4-game winning streak. They are 20-22 overall, 6.5 games behind the first place Baltimore Orioles, but winners of 4 in a row and 6 out of 8. Long season, so they're starting to play a little bit better. That one is bounced foul.
That's a good point, Cat, because they have to be very confident about having Chapman back, and also, of course, then they move Miller and Betances. So, you know, their ball club, they realize it's a long season and they're in a tough division, but having 3 great relievers to close out a game has to be special for them as a team.
Hahn kicks and the pitch is skied toward the right side of the diamond. Alonso is under it, and that's the first out of the ball game. Let's look at the defense for the Athletics behind Jesse Hahn this afternoon.
Batting in the second
Coco
position.
Crisp is in left field. Billy Burns in center, and Jake Smolinski is in right. Valencia, Simeon, Coghlan, and Alonso on the infield, third to first, and Stephen Vogt back behind the plate today.
Well, you had mentioned when Josh Reddick went out, what's the A's going to do in right field, and because it's between Burns and Smolinski right now, and depending on who's pitching. And Josh Reddick, of course, broken left thumb. Good to see his energy on the bench. You'd like to see it in play in right field and at the plate.
Hahn with the first pitch strike to Brett Gardner. Gardner at 246 with 5 home runs, 11 RBIs. He is 3 for 9 in the series. He did not start yesterday. Umpires today, that's Brian Knight, who's going to be calling balls and strikes. Bill Miller is your crew chief, and Bill Miller is at second base.
And Mr. Knight stay on Jesse Hahn's 12-6 curveball because he just threw one. That's a good one.
Off speed pitch catches the outside corner. Beltran to follow, just underway here at the Coliseum.
Well, Jesse's at 6'4" according to the media guy, but those high socks or high pant legs, he looks like he's about 6'8", and he uses his height to his advantage and tries to pitch downward with that height and like fastballs up to get fly ball outs.
Valencia.
Oh, you didn't see it.
And he couldn't find it. And he was looking right up into that sun. And as we said, there's There's a fair amount of cloud cover, but not enough right around the field right now. It's mostly sunshine over top the field, and Valencia looking right up into that sun.
Well, he put his hands up saying, I don't see it there, and then tried to find it, and once he found it, it was behind him and no chance to get it. And you know, Marcus Semien, I don't know if he had been able to get there just in case, a better angle for him, but it's still one that you expect him to be able to handle.
Big curveball tapped toward Yonder Alonso, 2 away.
Well, that's how you take care of business there. Well, May 30th last year, Beltran is after a walk to McCann, and Beltran, of course, what new? He's been doing that in this series. Jesse Hahn gave up a home run to him last year, but it was the 4-pitch walk to McCann that probably disturbed Jesse Hahn more than anything. But Beltran, I agree with you, Kipe. Forget about his age. He can hit.
He can hit.
At least he has against the A's.
Yeah, it's been quite a series for Carlos Beltran. I got him 7 for 14 with 4 doubles, a homer, and 7 RBIs.
Well,
not too shabby.
The 7 ribbies, that's the killer for the A's, and what he has been able to do in those situations. And they're shifting again, but you know, as Bob Melvin said about the ball down the line, he said regardless of the shift, he's going to get a hit when it's just inside the third base line. But just a smart hitter. You pitch him away, especially with a couple of strikes, he's not going to try to pull it.
He hits this one down the left field line. So Carlos Beltran coming into today with 2,495 career hits. He is 5th among active hits leaders. Ichiro closing in on 3,000. Beltran closing in on 2,500, 5 hits away. We chuckled on Thursday night. We said I said Ray, he would have to have a huge series to get to 2,500, and we both laughed. And he's only 5 hits away.
Yeah.
He has had a big series. 7 hits and 7 RBIs.
Well, let's hope he doesn't get 5 today.
That would not be good. Good for him.
Yeah. And the Yankees, because if he gets 5 hits and 5 at bats, he would.
More action for Yonder Alonso, and smooth fielding first baseman takes care of all 3 outs in the top of the first. That offense going. Offense has been a little slow in this series, and the lineup has Crispin Burns at the top, and then Vogt, Valencia, Alonso, Coghlan, Semien, Muncy, and Smolinski.
Michael Pineda, hard-throwing right-hander on the mound for the Yankees. He faced the A's back in the 19th of April, a game in which the A's won in extra innings. 9 hits in 6 innings. Did strike out 7 with a couple of earned runs. Did not give up a home run, the game that Eric Sierkamp pitched. And got first time through 5 innings of the game. So they'll try to get him today. Good cut fastball that he throws a line.
Gardner, Ellsbury, Hicks in the outfield. Headley, Gregorius, Castro, Teixeira in the infield, and McCann is the catcher. So at this point, that's probably the A lineup for the Yankees. Alex Rodriguez still on the disabled list.
Said he's due to come back Tuesday.
Okay.
He's going to give it a little bit extra, which is smart with the hamstring, as we know and have seen. I think that Pineda did well in New York with the strikeouts. The 7, as mentioned, he had a lot of sliders in the dirt the A's were swinging at, and it's a pitch that they have to be conscious of. And if it's, they can see the break on it and figure it's down, it's going to stay down and be out of the strike zone.
Coco hits one high in the air to right field. Hicks going back. Hicks at the wall. He leaps and he caught it. He got back to the wall and he was able to kind of set himself, set his feet, and he timed his jump perfectly.
And that is a great point, because so many will go back to the wall stops them. But it was high enough that Hicks, a very good outfielder, and you watch as he gets back as far as he can get to the wall and then jumps up and brings it down.
Let's see if it would have went out, right?
It definitely did not glide in. It had been close.
Yeah, it would have been close.
Maybe off the top of the wall and catapulted into the seats, but too close from their standpoint, and a good play by Hicks.
Exmo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. And here's Billy Burns. Burns is 2 for 8 in the series with a triple.
The drag bunt yesterday might have been the most impressive we've seen from him, and something that with his speed, do it a lot. And that was at first and second, loaded the bases. The A's couldn't score though in the third.
Wouldn't you agree, Ray? I think he needs to do it more.
Almost like twice a game at least.
And that we're not saying that he's not a good hitter, but I think just moving those infielders around a little bit.
You just saw the best leadoff hitter in the game ever, Ricky Henderson, who has been with the club this weekend, working with Billy, of course, working with a lot of guys, but he was the greatest leadoff hitter. He didn't run a lot.
Line drive and a base hit for Castro, or over Castro, base hit for Burns.
That was an Ichiro type swing there, ball almost on the ground. But Billy Burns going down and getting it, and watch him go down, and this low pitch, and just served it over the second baseman's head. And now the look at Ricky. Although Billy hitting second today, but still an opportunity to run way over the head of Castro. Timed his leap, but way over his head. So we'll see with Ricky looking on if Billy does anything. Mark Kotsay, the bench coach, with the stopwatch. Ricky watching the move of Pineda and his protege over at first base.
First pitch to Vogt. A little bit inside. Vogt hitting in the third spot today. .250 the average with 3 homers and 7 RBIs. Stephen Vogt, he has not had one of those hot stretches yet. So we hope that happens soon.
Well, and he knows it too. He's talked about it, and there have been spurts in Seattle where he let the ball come to him, and he tracked Jesse Hahn on Thursday, ended up getting a couple of hits, staying back on the ball, and he knows it. He said he's been around a long time and he knows how to hit, and he does. Tremendous first half last year, made him an all-star.
And the shift is on. Gregorius playing near the bag at second.
You know what happens, Kai? The longer you're around, the more information there is on a player. And of course, Stephen Vogt has established himself as a major league player, great catcher, and which means that opposing pitchers and teams know he can hurt you. So maybe pitching him a little bit differently than what they've done in the past.
Burns runs, pitches a strike, throw to second base is high, and Billy Burns has a stolen base. Number 11 for Burns.
Well, really a similar throw that McCann made a couple of nights ago, and Castro jumping. Billy Burns going in head first, as did Josh Reddick. Or that Gregorius. That's Gregorius making this one, but he jumped as well. You see the foot? That happened to kick the left hand of Reddick, and he's on the disabled list. So good job of Billy Burns getting into scoring position.
Pitch was called a strike. Burns takes off, and he's going to steal third easily. He got a great jump, and Pineda, he needed to look one more time, and he didn't. So back-to-back steals by Burns, and that has Joe Girardi shaking his head.
Look where Headley's playing, and that's why McCann did not throw. He got Headley off. He sees the big jump by Billy Burns, and really give Stephen Vogt credit. He took a strike to allow this to happen, to get the runner at third base. Now, even with 2 strikes, just make contact, put the ball on the ground, unless he steals home, because he can get a lead off third base.
A 1-2 pitch hit toward third. Headley juggles just a little bit. The throw is low. It'll get a run home, dug out by Teixeira. But a Billy Burns run for the A's, and it's 1-0.
That's called a Ricky run, and Ricky very proud of him, I'm sure, as he runs by him, gives him a high five. Stephen Vogt took a couple of pitches, and as Ricky, the Hall of Famer, would always say, but Headley way off the bag. Billy Burns, that's usually right, Kipe. He looked once, Billy Burns took off. He did not look the second time, and McCann said no chance. But these shifts, as long as they keep doing that, catchers will not throw to third base with a moving target. So Ricky saying nice going. He said they used to call those Ricky runs, and now they call them Billy Burns runs.
Well, the more that you've talked about that stealing of third when the third baseman is off, which we're seeing more now because of shifts.
Exactly.
I think it becomes a lot more clear how difficult of a play that is defensively. Because the throw, you're throwing a moving target, which you talk about, but the third baseman, he's also moving to try to catch the ball, and in between the third baseman and the ball is the runner.
Exactly.
So the runner really comes into play, being in the way as well. So there's a bunch of different reasons why it's such a difficult play, and you can see it clearly here.
Yeah, Headley way off the bag, and really McCann would have, had he thrown, would have had to throw. You try to say throw to the bag. At second base, it's okay because the guy only gets to third. But you throw to third. Remember, Mark Canha played third, and he had not played a lot. And he tried to backhand a ball, got by him.
Headley's throw in time. Valencia's retired, but the A's get a run. A couple of stolen bases by Burns. Vogt with the RBI ground out, and it's 1-0. California is brought to you by AAA. What does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more detail. So Billy Burns doing his thing in the bottom of the first to help the A's get a run. So 1-0 for Jesse Hahn. Second inning, it'll be McCann, Teixeira, and Castro. McCann at 258 with 5 home runs and 17 RBIs. Got the day off yesterday, Austin Romine, and that one is ripped to right, trouble, and gone. Just got over the wall, and just like that, it's a 1-1 game. Home run number 6 for McCann.
That's too bad. Looking for the shutdown inning, and a Billy Burns double steal or twice stealing, and that ball just stayed inside, did not come back where he wanted it. And to a left-handed hitter, especially a Yankee, because of the right field fence at Yankee Stadium, gone.
So here's Teixeira. Big curve drops in for a strike to Teixeira. Teixeira has started 2 of the 3 games in this series. And a night off on Thursday night. Struggling right now. He's 0 for 8 in the series and 0 for his last 17. So the Yankees waiting to get Alex Rodriguez back, which, as Ray said, will happen this week. They're also waiting for Teixeira to get rolling. And a low strike, and Hahn will take it, and that's his first strikeout. So not great news for the Athletics today. Found out when we got to the ballpark that Sonny Gray has been placed on the 15-day disabled list. It's a strained right trapezius muscle. First time he's been on the disabled list. He's now with 13 players on the DL. Daniel Colon was called up from AAA. So Sonny Gray, the trapezius muscle, as far as I know, Ray, kind of in the back of the shoulder, upper neck area,
yeah,
as far as I know. And it's been bothering Sonny for his last couple starts. Bob Melvin today in his daily press conference thought that maybe the muscle that is not feeling that great, it could be affecting his location, but he didn't think it was really affecting Sonny's velocity, but the ability to maybe not finish it and get your pitches down in the strike zone could come into play with this injury with Sonny.
Here's the starting lineup for today, brought to you by Henderson Alvarez, the starting pitcher. You got a whole bunch of. Jed Lowry just went out on his assignment and to play the game. I think, as you mentioned, he hopes to join the club tomorrow in Seattle, but Mark Cannon's going to be out for the year. Josh Reddick, thumb. Fegley with a knee. He's not going to be gone that long. But
most players the A's have had on the disabled list at one time since 1979. So it's an issue. You can survive for a while, but at some point it's going to start taking its toll.
It will catch up. Exactly.
Now the A's don't feel like the Sonny Gray situation is anything that's going to keep him out for much longer than the actual 15 days. But still some question marks with Henderson Alvarez as well.
Right. But the only problem with a starting pitcher, or a pitcher in general, if he can continue to throw, then that eliminates the time it takes for him to come back, because you go into spring training, you get your arm in shape, and then if you have to shut it down, so hopefully the 2 weeks will not be that long for him.
So Headley strikes out, a home run by Brian McCann, his 6th of the year. So bottom of the second coming up. It's a 1-1 game. All-Star Teacher Program is here, recognizing teachers that make a difference. Visit csncalifornia.com and vote. The winner receives $20,000 for his or her school. Scout Day at the ballpark. I like it.
A nice little band playing the national anthem.
Yep.
From East Bay Scouts.
So you get a badge for coming to the ballpark? Is that one of the badges you can get? You would think.
That'd be a good one.
Maybe a baseball on it or something. Maybe write a little paper about the ball game after.
Or before.
Or you know what they should do? They should make the scouts keep score.
No, they should make.
And then hand in the scorecard to the scoutmaster, and then you get the badge.
But if they're going to write a story, write it before the game.
That's right.
Just in case. Otherwise, write about the cotton candy, popcorn, peanuts, candy-coated snacks.
Everything you want to have.
Cotton candy, there it is. You could write a lot when you have one of those.
Strike to Alonso, and the count is 2-2.
It's amazing how exciting it was for the A's to score their first run. They only a couple of stolen bases, Stephen Vogt taking pitches, one swing of the bat, McCann ties it.
Yep.
Just that anticlimactic. You know, that's not even exciting. But he did it.
So 2-2 to Alonso, who is hitting in the 5th spot today, .230 with a homer and 10 RBIs.
Brian McCann, the swing suited perfectly for Yankee Stadium, and a lot of left-handed hitters in the lineup, and usually when a right-handed pitcher pitches against them, they will be a lot of lefties.
And a swing and a miss. First strikeout for Michael Pineda.
Pitch down and perhaps out of the strike zone, but Alonso went after it anyway, and at that point there's not much of a chance to do anything with it. Good advance, fouling off a couple of tough pitches.
Best swinging strike rate. There's some hard throwers on that list, and Pineda's on there. And another reason why, how the heck does this guy have an ERA of 6.6? Very hard to figure out.
Especially on the list for those guys.
Yeah, 58 hits and 14 walks allowed in 43 innings coming into today. Last 7 starts, he's 0-5. His only win this year was his very first start, and he did not pitch well. Gave up 6 earned runs in 5 innings in Houston way back on the 6th of April, but Yankees scored a bunch of runs. Left field, Gardner near the line, and Gardner has it. In Pineda's last 2 starts, he's given up 11 earned runs in 10 2/3 innings. Both losses to the Royals and to the Diamondbacks. He looks all right today.
You know, he did in New York too. I mean, going 6 innings as he did, looked great. He got a no decision in that game, but Tanaka had all those no decisions you mentioned yesterday, and look what happened as he pitched great against the Athletics.
First pitch to Simeon is on the outside corner, first strike. Well, we remember when Pineda arrived in the big leagues with the Seattle Mariners, and he had a very good rookie season. In fact, he made the All-Star team in that rookie season. That was 2011, but then that winter he was traded, it's kind of surprisingly, to the Yankees. But he then missed the next year with shoulder surgery. That was 2012. And he's been on the disabled list in each of the last 3 years. So he's fought the injury bug a little bit. The Yankees are just saying, stay healthy. Give us 32 starts and the numbers will probably be there. Just has not been able to stay healthy yet.
Previous pitch slider laid off by Marcus Semien. That's a slider you have to lay off. But at that time when he was with Seattle, it was going to be King, Felix, and Pineda.
Yep.
1-2 starters.
It was an interesting trade. The Yankees had a power hitting first baseman catcher in the minor leagues, Jesus Montero, and that was the deal.
Yep.
A young hitter for a young pitcher. And Montero, who when we saw him When he first came up, you were thinking, you know, this kid can hit, I think, but he just has not been able to put it together. Pineda, again, when healthy, he's pretty good.
It's like Jay Happ with the Phillies. He was always mentioned in trades, but they would never trade him. Montero the same with the Yankees. One of those minor league guys, and the Yankees have about 3 now in the minor leagues.
Semien hits one high to left field. Gardner backpedaling, still backpedaling, checks the wall, and he leaps and it's over his head. Semien's going to round second. Big turn. He'll stop at second, and it's a 2-out double.
Well, you just have to wonder what the wind is doing. You can never tell with the viewporters, but this ball looked like it was hit hard enough. Good swing. Marcus pulling the hands in, but once it gets up in the air, a lot of things can happen. That's why Gardner went back to the wall as far as he did, similar to Hicks on Chris' ball, and jumped, and probably jumped a little bit too prematurely. Could not really feel. If he goes back to the wall, it probably catches it. Trying to find out where he was in relationship to the wall, but ball actually over his glove. But if he goes back to the wall and then made the adjustment, he probably catches the ball easily.
So here's Max Muncy, who's the designated hitter. Muncy was in the lineup yesterday, and he had a couple of hits. 2 for 3. Fastball first strike, 94 miles an hour from Pineda. Pineda is 27 years old. He's an intimidating presence on the mound, 6'7", 260 pounds. He got caught with pine tar on his neck a couple years ago, got suspended.
Not too obvious. Yeah, he not a good place to put it. So visible, and especially keep having your hand go to your neck, and you see this black pine tar. But
he didn't really try to cover it up.
No.
At least it didn't look like it.
Yeah,
finally, the umpires were like, "It's too obvious.
Yeah,
we have to argue."
Umpires didn't cover up the suspension either. The league didn't. About the shot, the umpire goes up and takes his thumb, his fingers, and goes,
yeah,
you're gone.
It's a little sticky.
But guys go through it, and I think there are pitchers who think that if hitters can put pine tar on their bat, why can't we put it on our fingers?
It's one of those more recent baseball discussions. And it's an interesting discussion because, like you said, well, pitchers want to do it. There are also some hitters who would prefer that pitchers use pine tar because they feel like it'll give them better control.
Right. Better grip on the baseball.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. The discussion by McCann may be simply to think or say first base open, right hand in the on deck circle. It's so obvious, but you know what kind of pitch they're going to give to Muncy on 3-1.
Missed outside, and Muncy takes the walk. 2-out rally for the A's.
And I still say that's when a hitter has to go to the plate, knowing the situation, but also be aggressive, but don't be overly aggressive unless you have a chance to expand your strike zone. But Smolensky swings the bat well against righties also.
So Smolensky with the chance, hitting in the 9th spot. First pitch is in the dirt, backhanded by McCann. Smolensky was 0 for 5 yesterday with an RBI. Outfield defense straight up. Castro shaded behind second base. Grounded toward Headley. Headley will go to second, side retired. So the A's strand a pair, and we're moving to the third inning. It's a 1-1 game, A's and the Yankees.
The MLB.com at bat app. Stay up to the moment, any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet. Doing that right now?
Just checking some scores.
Oh, okay. Well, you already have at bat on your. You got that app already. You're locked in.
It's quite useful.
Yes, it is.
For us baseball folks. Get a little more every year. A little more information on that app. Line drive, and that's a hit. Didi Gregorius as the leadoff single here in the third. All right, today's cold hard facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Most wins by a manager in Yankee history. Joe McCarthy, not the Joe McCarthy that works up here in the booth with us. Joe has never managed at the big league level. Joe Torre, Casey Stengel, Miller Huggins. Great names on that list. Great names of Yankees past. The 27 World Championships.
As we mentioned yesterday about Joe Girardi and playing for the different teams, probably in 2002. Hardest, as he said, hardest day in his life. The passing of Darryl Kile of the St. Louis Cardinals whenever they were in Chicago, and Joe was with the Cubs, and he had to, with the team out on the field, tell the sellout crowd at Wrigley Field that the game has been canceled. And they kept saying why, and he could not say why because Darryl Kile's wife was not aware that he had passed away.
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
Very sad. And Joe said it was the hardest day in his life, and he said shouldn't have played Sunday. They canceled the game Saturday, but you know everything a manager goes through and as a player, but to speak obviously with tears,
well, and then not be able to explain the whole situation.
Exactly. And just a sad day in baseball. We were in Houston at the time, 2002, and got the word.
See if the A's can turn it. Coghlan to Simeon, and they do. They get the speedy Aaron Hicks. 4-6-3 double play. That's the 5th double play the A's have turned in this series.
It's also the 5th ground ball out for Jesse Hahn. This is what he wants, the grounders, and especially after a hanging curveball to Gregorius to get a base hit, but a 4-6-3. Simeon clearing himself, knowing runner can't go after him. That really makes it nice. Hit the bag with the foot, clear, and make a strong throw to first base. Started nicely by Coghlan at second base.
So with 2 outs, now the top of the order in Ellsbury shows bunt, takes a strike.
Or the old equalizer cap, the ground ball. You get a ground ball, you're a sinker ball pitcher. And for Jesse Hahn, 3 starts, 3 times double figures in ground ball outs. And he's halfway to the double figures already in this game, just in the 3rd inning.
Couple of strikeouts for Jesse Hahn. That one's belted right center and deep, and Burns is going to run out of room, and that's a long home run by Jacoby Ellsbury, his 2nd of the year, and the Yankees grab the lead 2-1.
I think when we see the location of this pitch, you're going to wonder, is he going to stop going inside? Another fastball inside part of the plate. Jacoby Ellsbury, who does not hit a lot of home runs, unloads on this one, but a mistake inside. And you almost have to face the Yankees even on the road with the thought process of Yankee Stadium. Pitch them away and make them try to pull the ball and get ground balls. But 2 balls that have been hit hard in the air. Both have left the park on fastballs inside.
So here's Gardner. Gardner taps one in the hole. Simeon backhand, straightens up, fires across, got him.
And they're going to take a look.
Let's take a look ourselves. How about we just be the video team, Ray?
See if he jumps at the bag. There's the jump.
He's out.
He's out.
So a nice play by Simeon. Ellsbury's home run gives the Yankees the 2-1 lead. Bottom of the 3rd. And the A's will have the top of their order coming up against big Michael Pineda. First pitch is a fastball for a strike in the outside corner. Coco hit a drive to right field. That Hicks made a nice play in right by the wall. And it jumped up against the wall and grabbed it. Burns to follow and then Vogt. Crisp in this series is now 3 for 13. Good news for Crisp. He's playing in his 8th consecutive game.
Yeah.
He looks healthy.
Yeah, just the opposite last year. He had the neck injuries.
Shoots that one down the left field line. Fair. Gardner grabs it off the sidewall, and Coco Crisp has a double.
Thing of beauty. 2-strike opposite him hit on a protecting swing. Ball running away from him, and he stayed back and just served it. Probably a pretty good tennis player used to do something like that. That served perfectly just inside the line. Spinning, and Gardner played the carom off the wall. But a nice swing by Coco. No stride, and Gardner was playing very shallow anyway, but not that close to the line. Burns dragged the ball yesterday for a base hit, and he'll be trying to hit the ball to the right side. Headley way in at third base.
Burns to bunt and then pulls the bat back, but they say he did not pull it back in time, and it's a strike.
Really trying to bunt, something that Rickey Henderson, the greatest leadoff hitter, very rarely did. Matter of fact, he tried early in his career, it didn't work out. So he just walked and got hits. Home runs and walks. That's not a bad combo for a leadoff hitter.
Yeah, I think if Rickey Henderson would have bunted, we probably all would have been, what are you doing? You can hit the ball in the ballpark.
Because his strike zone was about a foot. As he crouched over and had tremendous power and great eye of the strike zone.
Fastball away. 1-1 the count. So Burns in the first single, stole second, stole third, and scored on a ground out.
Now they're shifting Burns to the right side, but Headley playing close to third in anticipation of a bunt. Ideally, it's for the runner at second. You bunt it to the third baseman.
Up the middle, Pineda knocks it down, picks it up, throws to first, and Coco ends up staying at second.
Pineda,
nice
he got it off his body. They're going to check him, but he was so intent on getting Burns, he forgot about Coco, and that's why he immediately looked to second base. But Coco didn't know if it had been caught in the air, and he's not going to run himself in and out. But Pineda never looked back, never looked at him, and between the ball hitting him someplace, maybe the right leg, and reaching for it quickly, he never once looked back to second base. But Coco held up. Initially, he took off, but saw the ball was in the air and didn't know if Pineda was going to try to get him or not. And in hindsight, of course, did not look at second, but it's hard to determine when you're the runner what he's going to do.
So one away for Vogt. Vogt had the RBI ground out in the first inning, picking up his 8th RBI of the year. A chance for another one.
And Headley does not know what to do at third. Got the shift, and he's not playing nearly where he was. Vogt was up, and Burns at second.
First pitch on the outside corner for a strike to Vogt. An RBI by Vogt in the first inning, just his 2nd RBI in the last 14 games.
I think Headley was anticipating a possible bunt by Stephen Vogt, but now moved back a little bit at third. Still a huge hole on the left side, but Vogt wants to drive the runner in, not bunt, try to get on.
And now he's behind in the count, 0-2. Valencia will be next. Pineda with a walk and a strikeout so far in the game. Stays with that fastball away at 96 miles an hour. See a lot of the infielders and outfielders, Ray, looking up at the sun, seeing where the sun is at.
And throw the grass, don't look at the view corridor and see the flags because they're blowing in opposite directions. Here are your drummer friends.
They're back. I'd say Pineda's a deliberate worker.
In that category.
No. Falls into that category. We don't want to have to put the stopwatch on him, do we?
Well, runner on base, he can take as long as he wants, and he is doing that.
Swing and a miss. Vogt chased.
It's that low slider.
So second strikeout for Pineda. 2 outs here in the third, and now it's up to Valencia.
See the break, the slider, and pitch actually bounced. So McCann, you know, it's easy to say, but you know, if you see the spin of the baseball, slider has a distinctive spin, like that red dot. And if you can see the spin and know where it is started, and it's going to end up out of the strike zone, but boy, 60 feet 6 inches away, it's hard to do that.
Valencia takes a strike. And an at bat like that for Vogt, what's frustrating, obviously the final outcome is a strikeout, but you took the first pitch fastball for a strike, and then you took another one for a strike,
right.
And especially with the runner in scoring position. Valencia shoots one high and foul down the right field line.
That was a pitch to hit that way for a home run.
Up and away.
Hanging. Wow.
And he has done that.
Yeah. Well, it was there, and boy, it was.
He had a pretty good swing at it.
Just a little behind it. As a result of his swing, the infield and outfield straight up, and he uses the whole field, which that's the scouting report, and the way he has been attacking right-handers especially.
The slider stays off the plate. Close.
And McCann holding it for Brian Knight, which I always thought is not a good idea.
Missed again, so Valencia has worked the count even. Coco led off this inning with a double.
Tim McCann and Pineda doing something that pitchers do, and that is trying to get a hitter to chase, get ahead 0-2, try to get him to chase pitches outside. He did not. One of the things that Pineda has done is you look at the pitch count, 52nd pitch coming up in the third inning. He gets ahead, but then throws a lot of pitches before he gets the out.
Got him swinging. So Valencia strikes out, and Coco is stranded at second base. Fourth inning coming up. It's the Yankees 2 and the A's 1. Brought to you by PG&E, together building a better California. Lake Merritt on a beautiful Sunday here in the Bay Area. It's 2-1, Yankees lead. A's will head to Seattle. After the game, they will open up a 3-game series in Seattle tomorrow. The Yankees will be off tomorrow at home. They will host the Toronto Blue Jays Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Yankees will fly home and have one of those nice home off days.
And because of this day game today, they'll get in a reasonable hour. You know, 3-hour time change, but still about maybe midnight, 1 o'clock. Who knows?
Yankees got a lot of road games, though. They will go home for that 3-game series against the Blue Jays, but then back out on the road right after that for a 9-game road trip. Right at Alonso, who grabs it. So Beltran hit it hard, 1 out. Well, the A's helped make one young fan's dreams come true when they revealed a new bedroom, kid space, and bathroom for 11-year-old Andrew. The project was part of Rooms of Hope, a local nonprofit that provides dream room makeovers to children who are battling serious medical issues. A's wives and girlfriends helped with the remodel and design, and many players participated in the unveiling, surprising Andrew in his new room. Special thank you goes out to Katie and Billy Butler for their generous donations to make this project possible. I'd also like to thank Black Bear Diner and the Waterfront Hotel for donating to this project. That's nice.
That's great.
It's very nice.
What a great
the youngster out. He's happy. That's great. Nicely done.
Yeah. Josh Reddick on the disabled list. He's there.
Yep.
That's great things to do, and that's makes somebody happy, and that's what the game's about. If you can do that, it's all worth it. And Beltran swung 3-0 and hit the ball hard, but right at Alonso, and McCann, who homered his last at bat, gets the 3-1 count.
Had a good swing there, but got under it. Burns in center waiting. And that's the second out here in the top of the 4th inning.
Well, now remember the pitch you just saw and take a look at the home run and the location of this pitch. Why do you think there's a difference? Fly ball to center field on a pitch away, and the pitch inside, he turned on it. I mean, that's a swing. And here's the last one, running away, tried to pull the same pitch, but didn't get the same result.
And here's Mark Teixeira, who struck out in the 2nd inning.
You know, when you play the Yankees, the left-handed hitters have one thing on their mind. Go back to Gene Michael, Stick, they called him a long time ago. Player, manager, general manager, I think. But as a scout, he said, we don't sign right-handed hitters, we want lefties.
Makes perfect sense.
Yankee Stadium right field porch is always built, it seems, for left-handers. The greatest of all, Mickey Mantle, of course. Roger Maris hitting the 61 home runs.
Teixeira on the ground. Coghlan has it, and the side is retired. So a 3-up, 3-down inning for Jesse Hahn. Nice work by the Athletics.
Jersey Day offer is back again for 2016. This season's jersey is a 1989 Dennis Eckersley replica. Purchase a group of 25 or more in the field level on select games, and everyone in your group will receive one. You can book your group Jersey Day outing by calling 510-638-GO-A's or by visiting athletics.com/jersey. The Egg jersey, that's a good one to have.
Yonder Alonso leading it off for the A's. Alonso, Coghlan, and Semien bottom of the fourth. Yankees with a 2-1 lead. A couple of home runs for the Yankees. McCann solo shot. Ellsbury a solo shot. He's got their run in the first inning. Vogt knocked in Burns with an RBI ground out. He's come in with a 19-25 record. They're 7 games back in the AL West coming into today. These are 6-13 in the month of May after going 13-12 in April. So it's been a little bit of a struggle the last couple weeks. The Mariners and the Rangers both playing well, and the Mariners and the Rangers have already won their games today. So I'm going to give those two teams credit. They have played well. Angels are playing right now. Angels are winning 6-0 over the Orioles in the 6th. Baltimore going for the sweep down in Anaheim, but Angels scored some runs early in that game. You see the Rangers sweeping the Astros in Houston. A 9-2 final, strike 3 call. Strikeout number 4. In fact, 3 in a row now for Pineda.
And a couple in the dirt, but this one backdoor from Pineda on a call for a strike. And Alonso knew it. He's looking for something not there. And heard Brian Knight, the home plate umpire, make the call.
So with 1 out, Coghlan will step in. Coghlan to the screen. So with the Rangers sweeping the Astros in Houston, Texas will head home and they will host the Angels Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Astros will be off tomorrow. They will host the Baltimore Orioles Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Slowly hit. Castro has it. Coghlan is retired. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Semien. So the Astros are now 17-28 with that loss. There has to be a little bit of concern.
Yeah,
with the Astros.
A lot of concern. And I mean, you look at the Astros were picked by many to win the division easily after what they did last year. They expected them to kind of continue this season, but that has not been the case. They had a magical year last year. They did a lot of things right, had some big years from players, especially the pitchers.
And what they've done, not only them, I mean, the A's are starting to do it too, where you're starting to dig yourself a hole.
Oh, yeah.
And the Astros are now 10 games out because of the Mariners winning today. Now, that doesn't mean you can't erase that deficit, but it will take you a while.
Well, and the players have to have it between the ears if they can do it too. Yeah. They just can't fall apart and say it's over. And say it often, and we'll repeat it often also, that it's a long season. A lot of things can happen. You just can't. Every game is important. Every day is important. And for the A's to avoid a 4-game sweep, it's important, and those are hard to do anyway.
2-1 to Semien. Swing and a miss. I'm just looking at the Astros and just their wins and losses this year, and as I look, they have not had more than a 2-game winning streak this year. And we're heading toward the end of May. High fastball, swing and a miss at 95 miles an hour. 6 in a row retired by Michael Pineda, and we are headed to the 5th inning. 2-1, Yankees lead.
Family to the ballpark on a Friday night with the Friday Family Pack. You get 4 Plaza level tickets, 4 Coliseum hot dogs, 4 medium sodas, 4 bags of peanuts for just $60 at every Friday home game. Buy now at athletics.com/family pack. Subject to availability.
Nice crowd today, 25,237. Plenty of sunshine. After kind of an overcast day yesterday. Castro, Headley, and Gregorius against Jesse Hahn in the 5th. Curveball, reach for, and pop to shallow center. So 5 in a row retired by Jesse Hahn. Some notes on the fastball of Jesse Hahn. By season, strictly velocity. And it's interesting, Ray, he's increased that velocity each of the last 3 seasons. And this is also a guy who had Tommy John surgery. Yeah. That was a little while back.
Yeah.
Line drive, Coco over, and Coco has it. So Headley not messing around, going after the first pitch.
Yeah, that's a good point, because there were some concerns last year, and his concern that there was something wrong in the right forearm that may also be attributable to the Tommy John surgery, but found out in the offseason it was not. And he actually picked up velocity on his fastball, gained a few pounds, good weight, but also getting the sinker back, which is good for him. 8 ground ball outs so far in this game, but a couple of fly ball outs here. He'd prefer to get the ground ball outs.
First pitch to Didi Gregorius is a strike. Gregorius had a base hit in the 3rd inning. He's 5 for 10 in the series.
And Jesse got a no decision against the Rangers. Remember that game that we were surprised that in the 4th inning he threw 14 pitches to 7 batters, and they were on everything. Beltre hit the curveball from his knee on 0-2. But you see swings like that, you're often wondering about it. But today is a little bit different story. Just a couple of fastballs inside have resulted in home runs. Other than that, he's pitched a very good game.
Up and away. So 2-2 the count. Pitch number 58 coming up from Jesse Hahn. So his pitch count's not too bad. The bat goes flying, so does the baseball. Lands just behind the A's dugout.
Well, that's what we're talking about with Adrian Beltre. Mazara hit a home run, but this was it. The 0-2 curveball. Watch Beltre down to one knee, down to his right knee, and the ball left the yard. And that's a great follow through, especially the result being a home run.
Coghlan dives. He's got it. His throw to first, not in time.
Chris Coghlan only knows how to play one way, and you just saw it. Regardless of excellent speed, but Coghlan got up, made a good throw to Alonso.
Number 31.
And Gregorius getting an infield hit, but Chris Coghlan playing all out, going down, diving, throwing. Anybody else, especially a catcher, might have been an out.
Here's Aaron Hicks, who hit into a 4-6-3 double play, his first at bat. Again, Valencia in on the grass. Vogt initially couldn't find it, but Gregorius decided to stay.
Now backhanded, it did scoot away from him, and maybe helped by the home plate umpire's shin guard. Started. Actually, Hicks was kind of waving them, but by the time he decided to go, Stephen Vogt found the baseball.
Gregorius not a real big base dealer. If he has just one. Hicks in this series is 2 for 11. And now it's 2-0. Getting a chance to play in the outfield with Alex Rodriguez on the disabled list. Then slides Carlos Beltran into the DH spot and opens up an outfield spot. Hicks, switch hitter, good defender.
Check the lineup on Tuesday.
Yep.
See if that changes, how it will change.
Hicks hits it on the ground right to Valencia, who is playing on the grass. Flips it across. Retired. A hit and a runner left. Bottom of the 5th coming up would be Muncy, Smolinski, and Crisp. 2-1 New York. It's coming up this evening at a special time, 4:30, and it's on our sister station, CSN Bay Area. We'll have the highlights and clubhouse reaction from this A's Yankees game. We'll have a Game 3 preview of the Warriors Thunder game. Game 3's tonight, folks. And the Sharks get you ready for Game 5 in their series against the Blues. That series is tied 2-2. Game 5 will be in St. Louis tomorrow night. Kelly Johnson, Henry Wolford will host, so that'll be a busy show. So you get you ready for the Warriors, Sharks tonight.
So Henry's got all the sports, huh?
Yeah, Henry's got
very talented, man.
Yeah. You know what Henry's really talented at is making us announcers feel like we're a lot better than we really are. Henry is the great compliment giver. Makes us feel good. Whenever Henry hosts a show, and we do a little talk with him in the pregame show, we come away feeling better about ourselves.
That's right.
And we appreciate that.
Now, Max Muncy last May the 17th hit his first major league home run. Jeff Samardzija. White Sox in town, and there's a chance to come back to big leagues this year, this week, and trying to help the A's offense.
And he had a good rip there.
And he was out early this morning working with Ron Washington. I said, oh yeah, with Wash, he said, every day. So he needs to work, and he's working at third base. Wash had Simeon, of course, is there. And Wash getting more and more guys coming out, working with him on a regular basis.
In the dirt. 6 in a row retired by Pineda. So the A's trying to get something going, and we've talked about it really the whole series. When you're playing the Yankees, you have to think about a shortened game.
That's right.
You have to.
And it's getting short.
And it's getting short.
Like
exactly.
2 innings.
Line drive into the glove of Gregorius, 1 out. And We bring that up, Ray, because these three guys, Betances, Miller, Chapman, who are terrific, we saw them on Thursday night. So they did not, all three of them did not pitch on Friday and did not pitch yesterday. So they're fully rested. And Joe Girardi, if they're rested, he's going to use them.
If you go 6 innings with Nova on Thursday night, 62 pitches, and you go straight to those guys with a 2-1 lead, I don't think there's any doubt that Pineda's pitch count's higher already than Nova was in his 6 innings.
So you can, if this game is tied or the Yankees are winning, you're going to see those guys today. Smolinski takes a strike. 1-1 the count. Smolinski grounded out in the 2nd inning. Came up with 2 on and 2 out. Goes down and gets that breaking ball and lines it to left for a 1-out single. So that breaks up the 7 consecutive hitters retired by Michael Pineda.
So with that thought in mind, how about the A's take a 3-2 lead in this inning? That would be a big plus. Smolinski doing the job. Watch a lot of sliders thrown by Pineda.
Number 4.
And this one down low and able to go down and get under it and drive the ball to left field. He almost went down to his right knee. Following his former teammate with the Rangers, Beltre, played with Texas a couple years ago.
You know what, Ray? Speaking of that, what you just said about he's taking the lead with the Yankees having an off day tomorrow. Joe Girardi may use those guys anyways today,
right.
even if it were to be like a 1-run game. The A's were happened to take the lead. Swing and a miss by Coco Crisp. I don't see Coco swing through a whole lot of pitches. Coco doubled leading off the 3rd, but the A's could not get him home. Pretty good gap in right center. Fouled off of Brian McCann.
Got to get a slider and slider down. Smolinski's at bat getting under the ball. It's McCann trying to emulate the Stephen Vogt in the magnet. Former catchers in the dugout for the Yankees. Joe Girardi, of course. Tony Pena, a couple.
In the dirt. So 76 pitches for Michael Pineda. He's thrown as many as 114 this year. And him getting up over 100, not a real issue. So he's got some gas left in the tank. Andrew Miller's actually walking from the bullpen toward the dugout, so maybe he's just going to shut her down for the day.
But he's the 8th inning.
Yeah,
he's got a while.
Maybe he's got a little flu or something, not feeling great. Nice play. Initially a misplay, but he made up for it.
Scotty told me he wasn't going to be down there today. He said he wasn't feeling that well, a little bit under the weather, but we'll talk about a gamer. What a gamer, Scotty. Made the reverse action. He thought Elijah was going to be down there today, but maybe Elijah got sick. So being under the weather for Scotty, not as bad as Elijah. Nice job, Scotty. You're a gamer, buddy.
So not 100%.
Yeah.
But really, Scotty at 70% is better than a lot of guys at 100%.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe, I don't know if Elijah's down the right field line, but Scotty, no, Elijah was in the right field last homestand when the Warriors were playing at home. But yeah, Scotty, that's a great call, Kai.
Really, Scotty at probably 30% is better than. Drive left center, but it's going to hang up. Ellsbury's there. So 2 away.
Need another Burns run because Billy base hit on a 2-strike pitch to right center field. Stole second, hit first slide, walked to third as they were not paying attention to him. And Stephen Vogt, a ground ball to Headley, playing back, and Burns able to score. And there's the Rickey run. Thing is, Rickey thinks he could still get a Rickey run.
And he probably could. Again, Headley a step onto the grass.
Dan McCann's doing a pretty good job backhanding a lot of the sliders in the dirt thrown by Pineda. And that's a credit to him to have good enough hands to be able to backhand. And sometimes the slider's thrown too hard, he can't get his body in front. But man, several times today this has happened. And I say that because it could very easily be wild pitches and advance a runner to scoring position, but McCann's done the job. 90 feet is huge when you're down by a run.
And now it's 2-0. 4 hits in the game for the Athletics, also 4 hits for the Yankees. There has not been an error made. Headley can't get it, bounces over his head into left field. So Burns takes advantage of Headley playing in and just chopped it right over his head.
Oh, speed is so great, and be able to have infielders have to play in because of the speed. Just the thought of a bunt, normal position, normal hitter who might not be bunting. It's an easy out. Instead, a high chopper, and Headley can't get it. So good speed on the bases, and Stephen Vogt trying to have a big day.
A's need a hit. They are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position today. Vogt did get a run home with the ground ball. They've been kind of searching for big hits in this series and have not been able to find any. Yankees have seemed to have gotten all the big hits. 2 on, 2 out, and here is Vogt, who has got that RBI ground out, and he has struck out. First pitch is a good one on the outside corner, first strike.
Pineda is living outside to lefties and righties.
Vogt shoots one toward left field. Gardner on the move, and Gardner can't get it. 1 run scores. Here comes Burns. Burns will score A's lead.
Oh, they believe in Stephen Vogt, and Vogt getting a pitch outside and just stayed with it, and the ball just kept slicing. Gardner over towards left center, and a slice, slice, slice. The important thing to learn, the ball kept in the park, stayed in the park when it hit, and then up on the wall, did not catapult over the fence to make it a ground rule double. And with Billy Burns' speed, he could score easily from first base. And Stephen Vogt has driven in all 3 today. Ground ball to Headley and a double to left field, and what a great sign for Stephen Vogt.
So a 3 RBI game for Stephen Vogt, and boy, he needed that. Oh. He needed some RBI.
Well, the A's needed 3-2 lead.
Yes, they did.
At least to take the lead.
So here's Valencia.
And this is important for Jesse Hahn to go out the next inning and keep the lead. And well, another big hit here with 2 outs would be huge for the A's.
Valencia has grounded out, and he has struck out. Swing and a miss. I think Valencia is pulling off a little bit lately.
kept looking at the view court in left field. The flag's kind of blowing a little bit from left or right to left, and that might have helped. The ball was slicing away from Gardner, but that wind might have been just enough to push it down on the corner.
Yeah, Gardner's got great range, and I thought he was going to catch it.
And being a left-handed fielder, glove on his right hand, able to reach out easier.
Swing and a miss again, and it's 0-2. Yeah, to me, I agree with you. It looked like the ball was just working its way away from Gardner.
Take everything, anything it can get. The slicing ball, little bit of wind, and 2 outs, keeping it in the park. Burns scoring from first.
To pitch, dug out by McCann.
It'd have been unconventional, but boy, give McCann a lot of credit. Another ball in the dirt. Another ball back in and scooped by McCann.
I can see where Pineda would be tough to catch at times.
Especially the slide. When he gets the slider down where he wants to get it and gets a lot of swing and misses with the pitch, it's going to be in the dirt more times than not.
Hit hard in the hole, backhanded by Gregorius. In time, side retired. Stephen Vogt with the big hit. He needed it, and the A's needed it. A 2-out, 2-run double. So as we head to the 6th inning, the A's now leading 3-2. On CSN California is brought to you by Clipper. 1 million Bay Area Transit riders agree using Clipper is easier than using cash. There's the big hit in the game so far. A's needed it, and Stephen Vogt gave it to him. So A's with a 3-2 lead. Yankees with the top of the order up against Jesse Hahn. So we'll see what Jesse does with the lead. There's a chance to get a 1 pitch, 1 out, and he does as Ellsbury grounds out.
Same guy hit a home run on the pitch inside, pitches him outside, gets a ground ball to short, giving him 10 ground ball outs with that first out of the 6th inning.
Now batting, number 11, Brett Gardner.
This is where pitchers can learn a lot. You get a lead, you lose the lead, you get the lead back. What did you learn in the first time when you gave it back up? Now having another 1-run lead. Look at the line for Jesse Hahn. No walks, a couple of strikeouts, and as mentioned, 10 ground ball outs, which is his style of pitching.
Strike call to Gardner on the inside corner. Gardner is grounded to first and grounded to short. High strike, and it's 0-2.
Understand the pace of the game, speed up the game. They want to raise the strike zone.
Yep.
Above the head.
Make you swing.
Well, umpires can control that anyway. I mean, they can call strikes, and you complain and say, well, swing the bat. But that is part of the game.
Yeah, a lot of talk about that in the last couple days, about maybe changing the parameters of the strike zone to generate more offense.
I tell you, there's one thing they're talking about. I hope they never do. Well, of course, to take the human element out of calling balls and strikes, but the intentional walk, just say go.
Interesting.
No way, can't do it, because there's some guys that cannot make the intentional walk. They can't pitch off the plate and throw to a target that's not there except the hand. But I think if they do that, that's going to help some pitchers, because they have to work on it.
Plus the intentional walk, and I agree with you. How many times is there an intentional walk in a game? It probably averages maybe one a game on average.
If that, yeah.
Center field and a base hit. So Gardner fell behind 0-2, stayed 0-2, and then got a base hit. So now the big thumpers come up for the Yankees.
Number 36.
But it didn't hit it hard, but Jesse Hahn threw the curveball, and with a couple of strikes, we saw Gregorius do the same thing with a curveball. Hit it to center field in his first at bat, and that was 0-1.
Well, here's Carlos Beltran. Grounded out twice to first. We'll say this though, Ray, about Major League Baseball and the new commissioner. You may not agree with all the ideas, but they're trying to improve the game, even if it's conversations, even if it's maybe controversial ideas, but at least it's not stagnant. They're trying to make the game better. Base hit left field. Beltran just shoots it that way. Almost looked like he was going that way the whole way.
Well, especially with a high fastball away from him. So Jesse needs the ground ball that's helped him so far in this game. But look at the location. If it's up, and we've seen Beltran do this with pitches away from him, just go to the opposite field. It's almost like he just waits to the last instant before he pulls the trigger.
You know what else he does, Ray? He's been such a good hitter for a long time. His head never moves. Right?
Yeah.
Just never moves. Except his eyes looking right at the ball. Kurt Young's on the clock. Watch his head.
Yeah.
Stay still.
Yeah.
Look at that. His body moves, his head doesn't.
And I think of the great Hall of Famer Rod Carew, just the wrist, the hands, use the whole field. Beltran, of course, tremendous power.
Well, they break up the meeting with Axford getting loose, and the Yankees, this will be their first at bat with runners in scoring position. Their 2 runs came on home runs. So Gardner at second, Beltran at first, and here's McCann. Switch hitting Mark Teixeira is in the on deck circle. Simeon playing right by second base to keep an eye on Gardner, because Gardner is a threat to try to steal third, and that's that play that you and I have been talking about.
Yeah, Brian McCann, maybe Jesse just overthrew the fastball enough to get it inside for McCann to hit it as hard as he did. And Jesse has had a couple of times where the pitches have been inside and off the plate, and maybe it has been just a little bit overthrown. Stephen Vogt might have been telling DeMarcus Simeon, telling him that if Gardner runs, I want to throw to you, in case Beltran decides to try to steal second.
McCann takes high. After the home run in the second, McCann hit a fly ball to center field in the fourth. Axford should be about ready down in the bullpen. in the air, left field toward the A's bullpen. Coco Crisp hustling over. He's not going to be able to get to it. So Hahn now ahead in the count 1-2. And a big looping curveball that McCann tried to stay back on.
Well, the 0-2 same fastball is one that you'd hope that he could throw. McCann, you would hope, would try to pull it and hit it into one of the infielders on the right side of the infield. But he seems to elevate the ball, get the ball in the air. A couple of fly balls today, one a home run.
See where Simeon's playing. He's literally 2 steps from the bag. And Gardner, very good base runner. He's inching off. He's got a huge lead. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and that is strikeout number 3 for Hahn, and that was a big one.
Was that huge? And Bob Melvin is the fastball inside, and he's going to John Axford to try to get the 3rd out of this inning. And what a big strikeout, especially with a power hitter. He'd already hit a home run, and Jesse Hahn nailed the fastball inside. Brian McCann, no contact. And
so Jesse Hahn leaves 5 2/3 innings. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
present the A's at mealtime on Memorial Day, Monday, May 30th. 15,000 fans will receive, now listen to this, A's Player Pet Bowl. It's featuring Stella Doolittle alongside Baxter and Murray Reddick. This Pet Bowl will have the rest of your neighborhood packed listed. They're howling with envy. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 877-493-BALL. They're howling. You hear them?
Yes, I do.
Boy, that's a great soundbite.
Jesse Hahn, 5 2/3 innings. And now it's up to Axford to get out of this inning with 2 on and 2 out as he faces the struggling Mark Teixeira. Axford 3-1 with a 2.89 ERA. He pitched in yesterday's game through 20 pitches. He also pitched in game 1 of the series on Thursday. And this could be, I don't know this for sure, Ray, but it could be for John Axford. This is the guy you got to get.
That's right.
And
or this
may
inning.
not come out for the 7th.
Yeah, this inning, because nobody's loosening. But I agree with you. And working consecutive games, of course, coming off the foot that he got hit in Boston.
Teixeira fouls it to our left and above us. Inherited runners. Stranded. He stranded 5 out of 6. 2 big ones here. Shift is on. Coghlan in shallow right field. Semien just to the right of second base. He's on the edge of the grass. High fastball, 96 miles an hour. Teixeira checks his swing.
Well, the fact that John Axford can elevate his fastball, it's at mid to upper 90s, and that's where some hitters will at least attempt and check swing.
Two pitch. Hit into the shift. Coghlan on the back end. The jump throw to first. Not in time. Gardner coming all the way, and he scores.
You knew that was going to happen.
Gardner never stopped. And with the shift on, Coghlan had a long ways to go. Teixeira beat it, and Gardner just kept on running.
Well, the fact that he had to go to his right, and the fact that the throw to first, Alonso, of course, knew that was going to happen, but for Gardner, just did never stop. And you could see, I mean, just that much of a head start to be able to take it and go all the way. And Teixeira moves a little bit better than I think they anticipated. Of course, considering where Coghlan was playing, how far he had to range to his right, it was going to happen.
So Teixeira gets the hit and the RBI, and we're tied at 3. And here's Castro, who takes down and away. And for Mark Teixeira, that snaps an 0 for 19 stretch, and he snaps it in a big way. Now you got to get Castro. And he lines one base hit left center field. Beltran rounds third. He's going to come in to score. Teixeira digging for third. He makes it. And the Yankees take the lead with a couple of huge 2-out RBI hits. Castro lines it just over the head of Marcus Semien.
Boy, the aggressive Castro and getting a pitch to hit. And he did it. Home run by McCann was leading off the second, but the Ellsbury home run was with 2 outs following a double play. And these 2 runs scoring with a couple of outs.
Well, Castro gets his 18th RBI, and here's Headley. So 4 hits and 2 runs in the inning so far for the Yankees. And the 2 runs in this inning charged to Hahn, so he finishes with 4 runs, 4 earned runs allowed in 5 2/3 innings. Headley has struck out and hit a fly ball in the left field. Teixeira off of third. Castro leads at first. Blocked nicely by Vogt, saved a run.
Now the curveball biting down. Stephen Vogt knew it, stayed down. Ball came up. Nice block.
Well, the 2 hits and knocked in runs has quieted this crowd.
Oh. Especially after taking the lead on a big hit by Stephen Vogt.
Headley smokes one down the right field line, and it's foul. So now the count 1-2. Some movement down in the A's bullpen. Colon was just called up when Sonny Gray was placed on the disabled list. Runner goes, and it's foul back to the screen. So Castro trying to get a good jump, get himself in scoring position.
John Axford did not look at him before he took off that time. See if he does step off to try to keep him close. It's usually kind of a quick sneak, don't pay attention, try to steal a way in, or at least be on the move in case the ball is hit towards the gap.
Quick throw. Castro gets back. One and two. Here it is. Runner goes, and it hit Headley.
That's probably a break for the A's, because that was going to be a wild pitch, and I don't know if Stephen Vogt could have gotten it. Curveball really biting, and when it came up and hit Headley, the fact that it was so far out in front of the plate, the spin took it into Headley and hit him. But I don't know if Stephen Vogt, man, this has been a tough one to block.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know that he could get over there.
Sometimes you get lucky, and maybe that's the luck because it's not one you want to happen, especially with a couple of strikes. But considering the possible result.
So John Axford, who needed to get the final out and keep the A's with the lead, has given up a single, another single, and now he hit a batter. Colomé is pretty close to being ready. So here is Didi Gregorius, who has a pair of singles in this game. 11 for 31 in his career with the bases loaded. He is 6 for 11 in this series. First pitch is in for a strike. Teixeira at third, Castro at second, Chase Headley at first. Yankees bullpen is quiet. High pop-up will reach the seats. So Axford now, he needs to put Gregorius away, head in the count 0-2.
Well, he's hoping to get to Teixeira and make it possibly the one out, one batter, and now just trying to get through the inning and keep it a one-run deficit. Man, it's shutdown in for the A's has been tough today.
To pitch, bends Gregorius back out of the way. Gregorius, it's like he does dive in a little bit, and then it was up and in, and he really had to quickly get out of the way.
Well, it's not as close as he thought, but when you are diving, you think it's going to be right at your head.
And he's on top of the plate, too.
It's a good foot away from him, but guys that dive, it always seems it's much closer. In the overcast, those sunglasses might not be helping.
It is overcast right now, so the sun is gone. One-two pitch. On the inner half, Gregorius gets jammed and pops it up. So a battle with, even though it's the top of the 6th inning, game is on the line somewhat here, especially with that Yankees bullpen.
And already with a couple of big 2-out hits, and you don't want another one.
Curveball hit to right. Smolinski's going to get back there, and he makes the catch. Side retired. 2 runs on 4 hits for the Yankees. Bottom of the 6th coming up. It'll be Alonso, Coghlan, and Semien. 4-3 New York. Walk-offs to beat the Yankees. August 12, 2001, Jason Giambi hits his first walk-off home run to beat the Yankees. It was his 1,000th career hit. That was memorable, and we love that one. The great Marco Scutaro. That was on Jackie Robinson Day in 2007. A 3-run walk-off home run against Mariano Rivera to beat the Yankees 5-4. Today, Yankees leading 4-3. It's the bottom of the 6th inning. It was a fun day, the Marco Scutaro.
Oh, it was great.
You know,
Unexpected.
there's an inside story to that. Timmy Sumner from the A's front office, right? Used to be the bat boy, right?
Yeah.
According to Tim, he was the bat boy then, and on the 0-1 pitch from Mariano Rivera, Scutaro broke his bat. So Timmy says, well, my job is I got to get him a bat. So he goes over, and there's 3 bats. Marco Scutaro has 3 bats in the bat rack. Well, he's got to pick one. 2 look alike, 1 is completely different. Timmy's like, which one should I take? Game's on the line. So he just grabs one, brings it out, gives it to Scutaro. Marco looks at it, and he's got that look like, this isn't the one I need. Doesn't matter. Goes up there. Next pitch hits a home run.
That's great.
So Tim said, I had a little something to do with that.
It's like
I asked him, I said, are you sure? Is that true story? Are you making that up? He said, oh, no, that happened. That actually happened.
Oh, wow. They call that out.
Now, Alonso strikes out for the 3rd time. Probably not going to agree with this call.
Wow. There's a slider. There's a check swing, and the appeal went to 3rd base. And Pat Holberg made the call. You make your call. And yesterday, with Brian Knight at first base, that was not a strike. Today it is. Well, the natural, he said, give me a bat, Bobby.
That's right. So Marco said, give me a bat, Timmy. So Tim Summer, we think he had a lot to do with that, the Marco Scutaro walk-off. And, you know, he was real humble. He said, no, don't tell that story. I said, oh, I'm telling it. No. I don't.
But what inning are you going to tell it? Because I'm make sure I'm recording it.
He wasn't going to make up that story. 3 bats to choose from.
That's pretty good.
And he.
Well, at least it has had Marco Scutaro on it instead of somebody else's.
Yes, it did. But broken bat on the 0-1 pitch. New bat for the 0-2 pitch, and he hit a home run.
And you know, I stand corrected, but I want to say Scott Hatteberg, when he hit the home run in the 20th consecutive win, did not use his own bat.
Really?
I think so. I think I remember him saying that. Because obviously they want to go to Hall of Fame, but I'd have to ask Scott and see him. But for some reason,
somebody else's name on the bat.
Well, it's going to go to the Hall of Fame, but your name's not on it. So, but we'll have to ask Scotty when we see him. But I know when Reggie played for the A's, we'd always go to Frank Sinchek and say, put Reggie's name on it, because he always got the best wood. So we had a whole bunch of bats with Reggie's name on it, but our numbers.
Your bat style.
That's right. But on this day, Reggie's number was retired. Nice notes by Mike Selleck or somebody in the PR department. And 2004, third number retired. So it was Catfish Raleigh, Reggie, Ricky, and Eck.
2-2 pitch. There's that breaking ball from Michael Pineda.
Yeah, Timmy's humble. There's Reggie's number, that third to be retired. And Reggie, of course, in the Hall of Fame. Raleigh Fingers, Catfish Hunter.
Tapped over the mound to Castro. 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th. 97 pitches.
That's it. No more.
The hitter's Simeon.
Joe Girardi talking to Brian McCann on his way out, and there are times. That's Larry Rothschild. My apologies. That's Rothschild. So it's not Joe Girardi. There is Joe Girardi there. It's Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, but it's walking briskly. And I'm going to say sometimes the manager, pitching coach, will talk to a catcher and say, how's he throwing? So it seemed like there was a big conversation between Rothschild and McCann walking out and saying, maybe you get one more out, and then that's going to be it, because they're going to go to the bullpen. And they're already up. It's not Betances, the right-hander, Miller, the lefty. Or is that Shreve? That's Shreve. That's not even the big three.
Now batting, shortstop.
Shreve again. So we'll see what happens if Pineda gets through the 6th. Maybe Miller's still in the dugout. Maybe he walked down.
Not his time
too early
yet.
for him.
Not his time. In the air.
Slider.
Yep, and it looks like Pineda is going to get through the 6th. And he is. So 3 up, 3 down innings. 7th inning coming up. It'll be Hicks, Ellsbury, and Gardner. Yankees lead 4-3. July 22nd, 2012, Coco Crisp, a walk-off single to beat the Yankees in the 12th inning, and that finished off the 4-game sweep of the Yankees, and that was a big part of the 2012 season. I think a lot of the players on that team will tell you that the sweep of the Yankees was when the team, I think, really started to say, you know what, we're pretty darn good. It was July 22nd, so right after the All-Star break. And boy, then they just started to roll. And we know what happened as the final 2 months unfolded.
Well, at 12 also is when they went into Minnesota, and Larry Allen struck out about 16. Gomes hit the grand slam because of an error. I think it was it Span or Hicks playing center field. And I mean, Everything happened in 12. All good.
Well, mostly good.
That's right. Seth Smith hit the home run in the 9th on his Sunday. Seth Smith always had good days on Sunday.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. So Sean Doolittle comes in here in the 7th inning. So Axford, a third of an inning, gives up a couple of hits, costly hits. And now Doolittle here in the 7th, facing Hicks, Ellsbury, and Gardner. Swinging and a miss, the high heater. Doolittle kicks the 1-2 pitch, is hit high in the air, foul.
Well, partner, I think Pineda's finished because
we got action down
one
there.
One of the three-headed monsters is warming up in the bullpen. That is Betances, I think, is throwing.
Well, they're rested.
I just heard him throw.
Did you? Sounded low. Sounded like a strike. The Hicks slaps one through the right side for a hit. Chris Davis left the game yesterday. It's his right forearm bothering him a little bit. And Bob Melvin talked about him during his pregame press conference. He said it's actually, they're a little bit concerned about the throwing part of Chris Davis. He felt that a little bit when he throws, and obviously also when he swings. But so they're going to sit him out today, and hopefully he'll be back in the lineup in Seattle. Ellsbury bunts. Vogt quickly to first, and they just got it. Close play and a nice play by Vogt. So it'll be a sacrifice, 2-3.
No hesitation possible on a play like that. Stephen Vogt had to throw on the move. Great bunt by Ellsbury, and lefty on lefty. And Stephen just threw and threw around to the side of Ellsbury going down the line. And it took a very good play, and Stephen Vogt did it. See Coughlin backing up at first base, which is a good idea. Pick it up with a bare hand. You may pick it up, throw a change up. It looked like Stephen's able to get the good grip and make a good throw.
So it goes as a sacrifice. Runner now at second. First pitch to Gardner is fouled to the screen. Joe, with Chris Davis, you could DH him too for a couple of days if you were worried about the forearm bothering him a little bit while he's throwing. Angels leading the Orioles 10-2 in the 9th inning. So the Angels trying to wrap that one up, avoid being swept. A's will see the Mariners tomorrow. Strike and a good pitch right on the outside corner.
Stephen Vogt moving inside, and the ball just kept running away. And the fact that it started in there, that's the big plus for Sean Doolittle against the lefty.
And Gardner checks his swing on a very high fastball, 96 miles an hour. Beltran to follow, with Beltran a switch hitter. Dangerous hitter all the time, especially in this series.
Well, with McCann following a true lefty, it was Beltran the switch hitter. Then get Gardner, then at least they can make a decision if they want to, whether to face the switch hitter Beltran, the hot one, or McCann, the lefty.
Gardner again takes high to even the count, 2-2. That one at 94. slapped foul. Yankees now with 9 hits. He's with 6. Good speed with Hicks at second. And that one foul back again. Gardner just got a piece of it.
You get 2-2. You're going to say pretty much fastballs, and he's fouling them off. And thought of a slider, anything but fastball. Did throw the slider, and this is one though he knows he's going to throw a fastball. You might as well back it up with another slider. Probably is not, but throw a fastball. But Gardner just became a better hitter as a result of the 2-2 slider that missed.
Three-two pitch, a fastball, and he blew it right by Gardner.
Oh, that's a great location. You're going to throw the heater, which he did, upstairs and a little bit away. Stephen Vogt set there and the pitch away, and really Gardner not much of a chance, and
Number 36,
really kind of a defensive swing, which is surprising on 3-2 when he had to know he was going to get the fastball. Maybe the location is what enables Doolittle to have the hitter with that kind of swing.
Yeah, that ball was well past Gardner. And there's a shot. Base hit left field. Beltran's done it again. Hicks will come in to score. Beltran is going to have another double, another RBI, and it's 5-3 Yankees. So they pitch to him, which is a bit of a head scratcher.
Well, trying to go inside, did not wait long. Beltran
now batting,
from the right side.
34, Ryan McCann.
So 2 more hits today, and just did not get it in there. Sean got the strikeout, but the last thing he wanted to have the run added on.
So the series for Beltran, man. 9 hits, 5 doubles, and 8 RBIs in the 4-game series. And now at 5-3 Yankees lead facing McCann.
And you do not need to give those guys in the bullpen any more of a lead. And give them the extra run now is a big bonus, big plus for them. Of course, they are human. Anything can happen, and the A's know who they're going to have to face.
McCann gets jammed, hits it straight up over our head. It's a 1-2 to the Yankees catcher. He homered in the second. He has also hit a fly ball to center field, and he has struck out. Not close. So no question, Doolittle probably a little frustrated. I'm sure that's not where he wanted to make the pitch to Beltran. Colom and Dull now throwing. McCann had a pretty good swing that time. Betances, he's ready. He's just standing on the mound, occasionally throwing a pitch. He's loose and ready to go. Two foul back. So McCann getting some healthy swings. And I think healthy swings, you can do that if you have a pretty good idea what's coming.
Yeah. You saw the 2-2 slider to Gardner and staying with the fastball to McCann, and you're right, he's staying on it, and he can look for it, expand the string. There's the slider. But until Sean gets to the point where he backs those up, then it's pretty much telling the world, especially 2-2. But he blew away Gardner. See if he can do the same to McCann. Switch hitter to Scher in the on-deck circle.
The fastball in on McCann. Stephen Vogt flips the mask, and Stephen Vogt grabs it. Side retired. A run on 2 hits for the Yankees. We have reached the 7th inning stretch. The Yankees 5 and the A's 3. Scores from the AL West. The Mariners finish off the 3-game sweep in Cincinnati as they win today by a final score of 5-4. So the Mariners stay hot. See them tomorrow night. Rangers finish off the sweep of the Houston Astros in Houston 9-2. Cole Hamels goes to 5-0 with 11 strikeouts. And the Angels salvage the final game of their series down in Anaheim as they defeat the Orioles 10-2 behind Jared Weaver. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Dylan Betances, the big right-hander, comes in. 2.33 ERA. That's right, 38 strikeouts in 19 in the 3rd innings. That is not a misprint. And that is the real deal.
Probably most of them with a curveball, too.
So he takes over for Michael Pineda, who went 6 innings. And Max Muncy to lead it off. Muncy, Smolinski, and Crisp here in the 7th. And the first pitch is a strike. 98 pitches for Michael Pineda. A walk and 6 strikeouts. Trying to pick up his 2nd win.
And every strikeout on the slider. He just kept throwing slider after slider, and teaser with the slider breaking away, then throw the slider down in the dirt or close to the dirt and get the strikeout.
And there it is. 0-2 slider grabs the outside corner, and that's the first strikeout for Betances. Hey, join us tomorrow as we will be in Seattle. It'll be a 3-game trip. It'll be Rich Hill and Twan Walker. That's a good pitching matchup. Coverage begins at 6:30 with A's pregame live. Complete A's coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNCalifornia.com. The home of A's baseball is CSN, so join us tomorrow night. Safeco Field. And it's the first place Seattle Mariners. Mariners do a lot of things right now. They have the 2nd best ERA in the American League. They've scored the 2nd most runs. They've hit the 3rd most home runs. So they've been impressive in the early going. They won today. They're 26-17, and they've won 4 in a row. They did put their fine young shortstop Ketel Marte on the disabled list today with a thumb injury. so he will not be in that series. Called the infielder Chris Taylor. And Ketel Marte, I mean, against the A's, he's been terrific.
And Taylor was a very good shortstop until Marte came along.
So
it's another opportunity.
that's what awaits the Athletics Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. 3 night games. We'll televise them all here on CSN California. Kendall Graveman and Nathan Carnes will pitch on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, Iwakuma will face, well, we don't know, because that is the Sonny Gray spot.
That's right. Yeah.
Sonny last pitched on Friday. He's now on the disabled list. So the Wednesday is an opening for the A's. They'll have to make some type of move. So stretching it out after the Mariners series, the A's will come right back home for 3 against Detroit and 3 against the Twins. And then back out on the road. Houston, Milwaukee, Cincinnati. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Fastball at 97 miles an hour.
Well, it's an easy fastball too, and you almost have to look fastball 3-2. He'll throw the curveball, but not so much when it's a 3-2 when he's got a 97, and why would he? And you just have to find a way against the 3 guys, and all 3, of course, Miller, Chapman, closers before. Batons is probably heir apparent.
First pitch to Coco Crisp is the slider for a strike. Chapman will be the free agent. Betances, he's quite a ways away from free agency, and Miller is signed for 2 more years after this year. Another strike. It is a hard slider. Betances loves to throw it. Again.
Why not?
And that one, not a good one. 1-2. Michael Pineda was 6'7". Dylan Betances is 6'8". Over the mound, Gregorius charges, and that's a nice play. Didi Gregorius takes care of Coco Crisp, and Betances has a 3-up, 3-down, bottom of the 7th.
Field wall at the Coliseum. The Josh Reddick bobblehead with spinning action. It's presented by Comerica Bank. Saturday, that's next Saturday, May 28th. 15,000 fans will walk away with a replica of one of the Gold Glover's signature catches. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets or call 877-493-BALL. He's on the disabled list, but he will be here. He won't jump that high, but who knows how many bobbleheads he'll sign because his left thumb is broken, not his right. So he can write with his right hand, and see if he does that.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Daniel Colomb comes in. Those are AAA numbers where he was having a very fine season. So he'll face Teixeira, Castro, and Headley here in the top of the 8th inning. Doolittle goes an inning. There's 2 hits and a run, no walks and a strikeout. Colomb, the 4th pitcher for the A's. The Red Sox beat the Indians today 5-2 behind Rick Porcello getting his 7th win. David Ortiz went 4 for 4 with 2 doubles and a home run. So he's still at it. So is Jackie Bradley Jr., who had a hit in that game to extend his hitting streak to 27 consecutive games. So it's starting to get interesting. Teixeira on the ground. Simeon has it. So Teixeira now 1 for 4. White Sox beat the Royals 3-2. White Sox had lost 8 out of their last 10, so they needed a win today, and they got one behind Carlos Rondon, who beat Ventura. Todd Frazier hit his 13th home run. He's been everything the White Sox had hoped for and more.
Yeah, a lot more. Yeah, right.
See Miller throwing for the Yankees, so he will get the bottom of the 8th. The Royals had won 5 out of 6 going into that game. White Sox now 26-18, holding on to first place. And who's starting to play better is the Tigers. Tigers beat the Rays 9-4. Detroit has won 6 out of 7.
Now just in time. They'll be here next Friday.
That's right, of course. Tigers now 21-22. They're only 4.5 out in AL Central, which I think when it's all said and done will be a pretty interesting division. And Holmes strikes out Castro.
Another good curveball, 12-6 curveball, and Castro took the fastball and then takes the curveball called by Brian Knight.
So Headley will step in. He's a switch hitter. He'll hit from the right side. Headley is 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch in the 6th inning. That was part of the 2-run 6th inning when the Yankees started the inning trailing 3-2, left the inning leading 4-3. Blue Jays beat the Twins today 3-1. Stroman over Hughes. Bautista hit his 10th. Donaldson hit his 11th. And but this, Ray, the Blue Jays, John Gibbons trying to get something going. He had Bautista leading off and Donaldson hitting second. And they started the game with home runs. Wow. So it worked today. Valencia charges and throws out Headley. So Colomb has a 3-up, 3-down inning. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th. A's need to get to work. 5-3 Yankees.
on CSN California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
Here's our game summary for today, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 5-10-0 for the Yankees, 3-6-0 for the Athletics. Pineda with a good 6 innings of work. Jesse Allen was pretty good today. Had a couple of inherited runners scored after he left the game. And Carlos Beltran, another big day in what has been a huge series for him. So here's the big lefty, Andrew Miller. He'll face Burns, Vogt, and Valencia. So Betances does his thing. He goes 1 inning with a couple of strikeouts. And now it's up to Miller here in the 8th. Burns is 2 for 3. He has scored a couple of runs. Grounds this one in the hole. Gregorius cannot pick it up clean, and the A's have a base runner leading off the bottom of the 8th.
As I said, these guys are human. Doesn't mean that when they come in, everything's going to be perfect, but you still have to make contact. You still have to score some runs. They have a lot of confidence, and it's going to be tough to throw out Burns for Gregorius even going to his right. Caught the ball in the heel of the glove. Wanted to hurry to make sure Burns didn't get to second.
So they're going to give Gregorius an air.
What? You got to be kidding me.
You haven't gone over to talk to the official scorer in a while.
I
think it's time. Castro, he cannot make the play. It scoots under his glove. Burns is going to go to third. Off the bat, you were thinking it was going to be a double play, and it ends up first and third, nobody out for the A's.
And you're right. That's exactly what it looked like it was going to be. And Castro just trying to catch and maybe flip with a glove, but it stayed up. The ball stayed up. And then Burns getting ready to slide and then able to continue once he saw the ball get past Castro. He'll take it.
So they called it an error, and I think that one is an error. The Gregorius one, not so sure. But either way, it's back-to-back errors, and the A's are in business here in the bottom of the 8th. As Valencia steps in, and the one is way inside, and Valencia somehow got out of the way. So he'll dust off.
Amazing that getting out of the way as he did, that McCann could catch the ball.
There's that slider, and that's the specialty for Miller.
Well, that's what he's trying to do the first pitch. This one, though, the real good one to the back foot, and hitters will swing over it. You just have to be patient and try to recognize it.
And then line drive foul. Billy Butler has come out into the on-deck circle. That's Alonso's spot. So Butler will get a crack at Andrew Miller. And again inside, and Valencia goes down. So the count is 2-2.
Yeah, the fans are booing, but I hate to say it, you like to take one for the team, although you don't want to take one off the foot, but going down hard on the knee can be just as damaging.
Swing and a miss, struck him out, and that slider, it just dives into the back foot of the right-handed hitter.
But you have to know he's going to throw it. Well, the hard slider, back foot.
Your
Pitch out of the strike zone.
But you can tell, I mean, it looks like a strike till right about there, and then it's too late. It dives down and in. That is why Miller is so good. So here's Butler. First pitch to Butler is inside.
You know, if you take that pitch, if you don't swing, they're going to all be out balls. They're going to be balls. I mean, he wants you to swing at a bad pitch, and Billy Butler took it as if he knew it was coming. He came, and it was a ball.
Burns at third, Vogt at first. Takes it again, and it's low.
See, if you swing his delivery and thinking it's a fastball and he pulls the string, it's got to be out of the strike zone, and it's a pitch that he wants hitters to swing and miss.
That's Chris Davis. He will hit for Coghlan. Alonso in his 3 at-bats this afternoon struck out all 3 times. Missed again. So now it's 3-0.
3 sliders, 3 balls. And how big is the 1 run that Beltran drove in?
Of course. Miller deals, and that one is in there with a fastball at 95. So the fastball sits mid-90s, and then that slider is 83, 84.
And here's where a hitter's going to be thinking fastball, and he might get it, but Miller also is thinking he's going to throw a slider to get him to swing at a bad pitch.
Got it in there, and it's 3-2. Another fastball, 95. Butler thought it was in off the plate. Could have been. Where did it cross? It may have been inside. 3-2 pitch and a 3-2 slider. Butler just got a piece of it.
Fortunately, because it was ball 4. But really has not thrown a slider for strike to Valencia or to Butler. And just barely hit it towards the end of the bat off his foot.
Madsen warming up in the A's bullpen. Another slider, tapped slowly to third. Headley will go across the diamond to first to get the out there. Burns comes in to score, so now it's 5-4, and the tying run is at second base, so a productive out for Butler. And he got the run home.
Your attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, batting for Chris Coghlan. Number 2, Chris Davis.
There's Davis.
Well, cannot see this enough because Chris Davis, a walk-off grand slam, and no doubt with a 2-2 fastball, and the A's were trailing by a run. That's something that really you think about the grand slam walk-off, but the fact the A's, Tolleson needed 1 strike, 1 out to get out of the inning that was bases loaded. Fortunately, Davis took care of it.
First pitch to Davis. Tap toward Headley. Headley has it. Headley across the diamond in time. Side retired. So the A's, with a little help from a couple of errors by the Yankees, get a run. So we're going to the 9th inning. Yankees 5, A's 4. So a tight one, 5-4 Yankees. It is the 9th inning. Holmes stays out there, and he's going to face Didi Gregorius. Then Hicks and Ellsbury. Billy Butler stays in the game at first. Tyler Ladendorf comes into the game to play second. Coghlan was pinch hit for. Swinging and a miss, and it's 1-1. Gregorius is 2 for 3. 10 hits for the Yankees, 6 for the A's. One more shot for the Athletics to win a game in this series. Gregorius hits it hard. Butler missed it. Ladendorf hustles, and Ladendorf throws to first, and that one is missed. And Gregorius is aboard. So the A's had a couple of chances to get Gregorius out.
Just at the end of the long first baseman's bed, and Ladendorf trying to shuttle underhand.
Aaron Hicks.
And Billy Butler getting an error, and at least almost got him.
So that is the first error in this game for the A's, but they're 36th this season. Here's Hicks, who takes a strike.
Well, the last thing you want to do with the big left-hander warming the bullpen is give another run. Got to one, within one.
Hicks checks his swing, and it was inside. So 1-1 the count. Chapman throwing easy. We'll start to let it go here momentarily. You'll be able to hear it with their great audio setup here at the Coliseum. Breaking ball stays up and away. Hicks is 1 for 3. He scored a run on a single in the 7th inning. Three for 13 in the series for the switch hitting outfielder. Hahn went 5 2/3 for the A's. Axford a third of an inning. Doolittle an inning, gave up a run. Second inning for Coulombe. So a full count. We'll see if Gregorius takes off. Top of the order, Ellsbury, and then Gardner to follow.
Well, lefty on lefty, we saw what Ellsbury did last time, sacrificed when Hicks reached first base. It was against Doolittle.
And a slider down and in, and Hicks strikes out. Gregorius was not running on the play. 1 out.
That's a big out. That is a huge out, especially to get Hicks, keep him off the bases. And good slider, a lot of confidence in the pitch, and we see more and more
Number 22.
pitchers go in that direction.
Ellsbury.
So Ellsbury hits for the 5th time today. Pop out, home run, ground out, and a sacrifice bunt. That's interesting, Ray. Hey, our friends are here. It's up. That's way up on top of the scoreboard.
Looking right at us, isn't it?
Checking us out. It's a great camera up there.
That's funny.
He was looking at us like we're sort of in his world, which maybe we are.
I mean, the way they're circling.
Some good views from up there.
For the birds of the camera.
A little above. 0-2 to Jacoby Ellsbury. Tapped over the mound. Landorf has it. And they're going to get him going out of the baseline. That was Gregorius. So to be a fielder's choice for Ellsbury.
Well, by doing what Gregorius did, he prevented the A's from turning the double play. Landorf, good ideas, and now
11, Brett Gardner.
Joe Girardi is going to ask about, because he was caught out of the baseline, but Landorf went after him as he stopped, and he just avoided the tag. I think he tagged him anyway.
It was interesting, Ray, as I'm looking here in the 7th inning, the Yankees were leading 4-3. Hicks led off with a single, and Ellsbury bunted, sacrifice bunt. But here in the 9th inning, with the 1-run lead, Gregorius at first. Hicks, the 9th place hitter, did not bunt.
The only thing I could think is that Doolittle was pitching, whereas this was lefty on the switch hitter, pitching to the right-hander and give him a chance. But I agree, trying to get an extra run, and maybe if Hicks bunts, you got 2 lefties coming up, and then the switch hitter, the dangerous Beltran.
I guess my point is
if you do it once,
well, and if you do it with Ellsbury, you would think you would do it with Hicks. But you're right, it could be the Doolittle
that's
factor.
something I was thinking of.
Tough at bat. Gardner pokes a foul, headed for the seats and into the 2nd row.
Ellsbury looking, I think, to see what kind of lead he could get, and surprised he didn't take off when he had the huge lead, and the pitch went to the plate.
So 0-2 in the bottom of the 9th. It'll be Semien, Muncy, Smolinski. With Aroldis Chapman set to come in. He's not going anywhere.
Waiting for dinner. Just kind of hanging out in the breeze, waiting to.
Yeah, he's got a little breeze going up there, it looks like.
Now the rally cap worked for 1 run. Now trying to get at least 1 more, if not 2.
Hold on.
Just want to check out her arm.
Hold on. Ellsbury goes. Throw to second is there, and Semien puts the tag on the throw from Butler. Side retired. Well, the Seagulls want to walk off, so do we. But the A's are going to have to score twice against Chapman.
Enters the game with a record of 1-5 and inflated earned run average, but his slider was working. Kept throwing the slider. He would strike out a total of 6, most if not all on the slider, down now to the strike zone. But he did a good job, and he knows if he could go 6 solid, which he did, giving up just 3 earned runs, he leaves with a lead. Turn it over to Betances, Miller, and now the soft tossing Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah, soft tossing. He's got an unearned run off of Andrew Miller in the bottom of the 8th. So appearance number 7 for Chapman. He's 5 for 5 in save opportunities. Remember, he served the 30-game suspension. Came back on the 9th of May. So Semien to step in here against the hard-throwing Chapman. Chapman pitched on Thursday night, and the first pitch is in for a strike at 98 miles an hour. Matt McBride has come into the on-deck circle. He's going to hit for Muncy. Semien shoots one foul, but a pretty good swing.
How much do you think of Aroldis Chapman is intimidation? You know, you think about just the thought of facing him.
Yeah, I don't think it's the physical appearance.
No,
it's just you know what he's got.
Right, and you know he's going to throw a fastball. And this is a 1-run game, unlike the 3-run lead that he had on Thursday night when it came with the first pitch slider to Coco.
Gregorius has it. Gregorius across the diamond, 1 out. I mean, he's very tall and lean, and he's got the perfect pitcher's build, but it's pretty smooth.
I think when the hitters get the scouting report and they know that he throws consistently 100 plus, that they're thinking, I got to tune it up, gear it up a notch, and you know when that happens, I mean, you have to be patient, which is hard to do, but you have to also be ready to hit when you know it's going to be triple digits in the velocity.
So here's the pinch hitter, Matt McBride. You know what else happens too, Ray, with the guy who really just, he kind of drops and drives, is when he releases the ball, his foot is a foot in front of the rubber. Watch where his back leg is when he releases the ball. It's, I mean, that's 12 inches right there. Only helps him. But he really does. I mean, he drives off that back leg, and then all the power is going forward.
Well, the guys were talking on Friday after facing him Thursday that it's hard to pick up the ball because the way he does drop down with the baseball and then throws out of the stretch, of course, all the time. But to drop the ball in its back and then turns his body and then trying to pick up the ball out of his hand, and then it comes out at 100 miles per hour. And then the slider.
Well, and that's, I mean, the slider almost becomes just secondary. I mean, if you're thinking about that, well, then you're done.
Exactly.
But he's got a decent slider, enough to where he can get a strike with it.
And now the thought, I got to gear up for 99 to 100. Is he going to throw the slider again? He's got a 1-2 count.
And he came right at him, and McBride had a good swing.
You have to look fastball. If he throws a slider, just try to foul and protect, especially with 2 strikes. But you know, more than anything, you know it's coming.
Another good swing by McBride. So he's, I guess, seeing it as best you can at 101. He's had some pretty good swings since he's been brought up.
Yes, he has.
McBride.
Experience for the Rockies. You spend 6-7 years in the minor leagues to finally get the call. You appreciate being here and especially getting opportunities, and he's had that.
Smolinski waits in the on-deck circle. 1-2 pitch. Again, McBride fights it off, hits it foul down the right field line.
Just another fastball this time, just off the plate enough, and a swing just to try to stay alive.
Setting up outside again, and he got him swinging 88 miles an hour, and it was a changeup. Oh my goodness.
It's only 12 miles differential, and he pulled the string, looked like a fastball, and not surprised that McBride was that far out in front of him.
Now batting right fielder, number 5, Jake Smolinski.
Last time the Yankees had a 4-game sweep here in Oakland was way back in July of 1979. A's last swept here in Oakland, April, versus the Indians of 1999. And here's Smolinski, and he fouls it off of the catcher McCann. Smolinski is 1 for 3. He singled in the 5th, so scored a run. Still trying to shake the cobwebs of that changeup.
I know.
At 88 miles an hour.
Well, he's fooling around on Thursday when he had a 3-run lead, but today, there it is again.
Yeah, remember, he opened up the outing on Thursday with 2 sliders to Coco Crisp, and Coco got a hit on the second one. But it was also more than a 1-run lead for the Yankees. Different deal today. Setting up inside, 0-2 pitch. Tap to Gregorius. He's got it. Fires across, and that's the ball game. So an impressive showing by the New York Yankees as they complete the 4-game sweep here at the Coliseum in a homestand that started with so much promise, ends with 4 straight losses to the Yankees, so the A's finished the homestand 3-4. 2 hours and 55 minutes was time of game, and it was played in front of 25,237. Final score this afternoon as the homestand comes to an end. It's the New York Yankees 5 and the Oakland A's 4. You've been watching A's baseball on CSN California. It's part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Mindy Bach and Carney Lansford starts right now.